Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Mistake Zone, your weekly dose of our lives and the mistakes within them. My name is Jaren Wade. Joining me, as always, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt Alba. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good now. I'm doing good.
Matt, that's great. Also joining us, another one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Rakush. Hey, Rakush.
Yo.
At the time of this episode's release, what do you think you're doing right now?
You know, pretty sure I'll actually be back by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, really?
Okay. And with that, boys, we're still here celebrating 2025, well into 2026. You know, we're currently getting past our hiatus, but we're still here to celebrate the previous 12 months before we tackle on 2026. I hope your 2026 is going well, everyone listening out there. But of course, over the past few weeks, we've just been going through some of our favorite things of 2025, and just to kind of round it all off, I'm here to list off some of my favorite things of 2025. But
the main event
first, no, not main event, but
it's the
that's how the tables roll. Just because I know the week prior to Matt's episode, that was me, recounting my Japan adventures. So back-to-back Jaren isn't great. For
back-to-back Jaren is always great. You're being too harsh on yourself. This is the main event.
I'm overrated.
Get out of here,
boys.
This guy.
You know what else was overrated and underrated and rated this year? Video games. And I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity to do a wrap-up of what we did earlier in 2025 in our Real Mistake Zone Fantasy Critic, where just to recap, earlier in the year, us three plus our Saturday morning arcade friends Julian and Mark all came together to draft essentially our own video game publisher based on 2025 releases. And, addendum, Rakush wasn't actually there. We had a robot do that for him. But Matt, I know you asked about it a few weeks ago at the time of release, but I have the final results of our Fantasy Critic run. And Matt, Rakush, the results may surprise you. Where, let's just get into it. So just as a review, at the beginning of the year, we all drafted, I believe it was 6 or 7 already announced 2025 games that we thought would review well. And essentially, whoever drafted the most video games that reviewed well within the year would ultimately win this Fantasy Critic League. And surprisingly enough, Matt, Rakush coming in 5th place, level 5 alive from Mark Quintos.
Oh, wow.
You know what? With a total fantasy points of 84, you know what really did Mark in, you guys? Having the number 1 draft pick be Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
That was pretty brutal on Mark's part. And I think Mark tried to play the game where he did draft each eligible category, each eligible slot for him. But unfortunately, when he did remember to do the draft, he kind of drafted whatever was left. And sometimes that doesn't really work out for you, where I think in between drafting Grand Theft Auto as his number 1 pick, counter-picking Robot Rakush's Ghost of Yote, and, just trying to get some of the bottom of the barrel picks, such as morsels, that resulted in a, unfortunately, 5th place of our fantasy league. Coming in at number 4, Matt, it was you, buddy, with Games by AI.
Yeah, that tracks.
But
that tracks.
With 86 points, 2 ahead of Mark Quintos. Matt, I'll be real with you. I feel like if you actually took this seriously, in my opinion, you would have probably finished top 2. Just because, Matt, brilliant counter picks this year. Not only did you counterpick Mark's Grand Theft Auto 6, you also counterpicked my greedy, unannounced mainline Mario 3D platformer.
Oh man!
So Matt, if you if we were doing the John Madden play-by-play, if you dropped your Stellar Blade DLC pick and actually picked something to give you points, and if you didn't go with your meme picks of Dragon Drive and Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, I think you would have been rolling in the points. But
I really thought they wouldn't, poorly rate a accessible, basketball game.
Matt, you did. You did. But, strong picks with your number one pick, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. And Matt, you know what? Dispatch also got you some good points. So, and also 100 line Last Defense Academy is definitely something I want to play within the next year.
That did better than I thought it would, to be honest.
Coming in third place, Robot Rakush.
Okay.
Rakush, here's where you went wrong this year. You just didn't pick anything.
I was gonna say, how have I not appeared on this list yet?
Where I know outside of the two Robot Rakush pick, or the main Robot Rakush picks, you did pick Power Wash Simulator 2 and Showa American Story. The latter not coming out this year.
Excellent.
But Rakush, even since we let the robot pick for you, still a solid showing. Unfortunately, none of your picks broke the 90 range, which is pretty surprising, with Monster Hunter Wilds, your number one pick, being the closest at 89.
I thought Mario Kart World was going to break.
No, 87 was tied with Ghost of Yotei.
Oh, did I have Mario Kart World?
You had Mario Kart World.
Okay.
At the time, it was unannounced Mario Kart 9. Yes.
Haven't logged into this thing since probably Summer Games Fest, by the way.
Rakush, if you picked a few more, I think you would have been within the top two as well. But coming in second place is Jared Soft, my fantasy team, because boys, boy, did Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, my number one pick. Wow, I did not expect that to review as low as it did.
Did it really?
It currently has an 81 on OpenCritic. So one of my lower overall picks, where in between that plus the fact that I was greedy and drafted the unannounced mainline Mario platformer, which of course didn't come out. And unfortunately, I drafted Mina the Hollower. I dropped Ninja Gaiden for it to be able to draft this, and that was delayed and just didn't work out for me, Matt. Didn't work out for me. Despite having Blueprints, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I believe I had and Split Fiction. Just couldn't fight back from the Mario pick and the Mina the Hollower delay.
Jared, your counter picks really don't help you either.
No, Fantasy Life. I told Julian this game wouldn't come out. It came out. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Not a bad counter pick in my opinion, but lost points is lost points. Good. Shout out to Mark for counter picking Dragon Drive though. And of course, in first place, the Georgia Gooner Gamers by Julian. Even though he also had two non-released games in Mixtape and Moonlighter, I think he had some stronger counterpick games with Killing Floor 3. And, he picked Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, plus Hollow Knight Silks. Boys, did you expect Julian's Hollow Knight play to actually pay off?
Well, if I remember correctly, he drafted it after they put a date on it.
Fair. No, that he did. Did.
If he drafted it at the start, we were all memeing. Someone needs to draft Silk Song. That would have been like a fucking power move.
Oh man, but
we were cowards, Jared. We were cowards.
We were cowards. And victory goes to Julian this year. Congratulations to the Georgia Gooner Gamers for winning the 2025 Real Mistake Zone Fantasy Critic League. Congratulations, Julian. Rakush, why did you bid on Showa American Story?
I don't know, dude.
Cool.
I think I saw it at Summer Games Fest and was like, this looks cool. I'll do it. Because I think at that point, if I remember correctly, it's like, if something doesn't come out, it's just a neutral. It's not like a plus or a minus to your points.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it had to do with that.
Okay. Fair. Rakush could have just picked a few more and could have climbed the tables with a strong start. But
I could have done many things, Jaren.
Like log in. I feel it. But that was our Fantasy Critic wrap-up for the year. Maybe we'll do it next year. Maybe not. Who knows? But since this is my episode where I celebrate some of the things I enjoyed in 2025, I'd be remiss if I didn't do my top Fortnite skins of the year. But I think, Matt, Rakush, I unfortunately have to announce that this year will be the last time I do my top Fortnite skins of the year. Because after this year, I will be retiring this end of the year list.
Rakush, I feel like we could make overall mistake zone tier list and Saturday morning arcade tier list of Jaren not retiring from games that he said he's retiring from.
It's like Kevin with World of Warcraft and Jaren with any game he mentions that he's retiring from.
Where I'm not retiring from Fortnite per se, but I think I'm going to be retiring.
That so quickly.
I just said I'm retiring my
seconds.
end year list of my top Fortnite skins.
I don't know, Jared. What if some really good
How
skins
quickly
come
did
out?
you have to clarify that?
Where when I was trying to make my top Fortnite skins of the year list, I realized, look, I'm looking at least my honorable mentions right now. And let me, tell me if you see a trend in at least my honorable mentions. Honorable mentions of my favorite Fortnite skins of the year. Godzilla, the Power Rangers, the Megazord, the Adventure Time skins, Hank Hill, Spike and Faye from Cowboy Bebop, the Gorillas.
Chasing Your Youth is the theme here, right?
Chromacopia and Tyler, the creator, where, boys, I think my issue with trying to make this list is the growing fact that Fortnite is all about the collabs. And I think all my favorite skins of the year are pretty much collabs at this point.
Oh,
where
I get it.
It's I don't know. I just feel like if I'm going to say, oh, these are my favorite skins of the year, there's that inherent bias of it's only my favorite skin just because I like the property. It's reminding me of, as you said, nostalgia, things that relate to me. And the fact that the Fortnite original skins, especially for 2025, I just didn't think were very good. Where it was a lot of, I feel like, over-designed characters, takes on militarized, but yet still street fashion, that kind of blend that just doesn't work well. And I don't know, I just feel like a lot of the Fortnite original skins, if they weren't like the animals or whatever, were just really generic, really forgettable, nothing really standing out. Where
I see.
I think, plus it's the fact that when I look at all the collabs this year, it's that question of, okay, who's left? Like, what can Fortnite add that would make me go, damn, they're really reaching for my nostalgia. They're really reaching for my childhood. They're really reaching for what I've liked recently, just because, again, realistically, if I looked at my top, if I were to do a top list 10 list proper, Daft Punk, Stupid Sexy Flanders, Terrible Tornado, even like Rukia from Bleach. Like, you're already getting so many of these, properties, characters, designs that I already like who's left? And I don't know, it's kind of difficult. But boys, to send it off, I'll at least give you my top 3 Fortnite skins of 2025. Matt, Rakush, are you surprised at my number 3 being Hatsune Miku? Because, boys...
Yeah.
I am surprised. I'm surprised it's not one.
Yeah, same. That's exactly what I was going to say.
we're done. Hatsune Miku is in Fortnite. The only reason why Hatsune Miku is number 3 I'm trying to say this without I feel like this is a perfect soundbite to get me canceled. But there's something off about Hatsune Miku's face in Fortnite that makes me think, not like, yes, I can acknowledge this as Hatsune Miku, but it's not the Hatsune Miku that I like 100%. Maybe like 98% of the way there, where there's just something off about how her face is in Fortnite compared to how she's presented in a lot of different collabs or games or just even official art in general. There's just something off about it that I can't really put my finger onto, where it reminds me of another skin. And I don't know. I just wish that her face was more akin to what you kind of expect it to be, where I think, to the general populace, it's a really good skin. But at the same time, it reminds me of other Fortnite skins to the point where if on some days I'll think, damn, this is just like that skin cosplaying as Hatsune Miku, and that's kind of a bummer. But as all in all, Hatsune Miku in Fortnite is my number 3. Number 2, have to give it up to Mira from K-pop Demon Hunters, because boys, this is essentially a one-to-one of how she's presented in, I guess, K-pop Demon Hunters. It really feels like they just plucked her K-pop Demon Hunters model and just put it directly in the game. Like Zoe, Rumi, their models in the game are pretty good, but there's something off about Zoe. Like it's the same with like the Hatsune Miku thing. Like she's 99% of the way there. Rumi's 99% of the way there. There's just something off when you kind of stare at them for a bit too long. But Mira, 100%, I think this is the best Fortnite collab skin, one-to-one. And, in my rotation, heavy rotation. And I know when we first talked about K-pop Demon Hunters, you guys called me the Mira of the Mistake Zone K-pop Hunters. And it makes me happy that her skin looks the best in Fortnite. But, Matt, Rakush, I'm going to link you my number 1 Fortnite skin. And in the spirit of the reason why I'm going to stop doing this list at the end of the year is, it is probably the only original skin that I liked this year. And Matt, Rakush, would you be surprised that my number 1 skin is Namiya, the Demon Gal character?
Of course.
Yeah, Demon Hatsune Miku, of course. Yeah.
Yep. Guys, it's Demon Hatsune Miku. What more can I say? You don't really have a lot of gal characters in the game, Matt. I know one of the first ones that was gal adjacent. I believe the first game of my favorite Fortnite skins of the year, I think 3 years ago, was Leela, gal adjacent. And to have a demon variant, or a demon gal in general, right up my alley, original skin, checks all the boxes. And she is my number 1 Fortnite skin of the year. Closing out the list in Mistake Zone history. Maybe I'll do an honorable mention in a few years, but for now, those are my top 3. What's up, Matt?
I mean, Jaren, I'm looking forward, 50 weeks from now, when you decide to drop your top 26 Fortnite collabs.
Yep. Can't wait, Matt. Can't wait. Matt, if there's a HoloLive character in Fortnite in 2026, this list is coming back. At the very least.
Matt, I know the last couple of episodes, you and I have been talking about, like, don't bet 1-800-GAMBLER and stuff. I would actually bet some money with you that Jared's not dropping this game.
Okay.
I'm not dropping the game. I'm literally playing the game right now so I can unlock the Marty McFly Air Max shoes.
He's making
but I'm not doing this list.
He's already got a Google Doc going, guaranteed.
I mean, Batman Beyond just came to. Well, no, Batman Beyond would be technically a 2025 skin. So, we'll see in a week. But to kind of steal Matt's format of the 25 things that he enjoyed in 2025. I too have adopted that format for at least my end of the year episode, where, you know, I think when I think about all the different content that I've consumed over the year, which is what, you know, these lists generally are in spirit of, you know, it ranged from music, movies, anime, games, but I think I wasn't comfortable yet again in doing, say, a top 5, a top 10 for each of those categories. But in theory, I was able to, you know, put together a list of 25 things at the very least that at least stuck out to me in some capacity this year. But of course, I do have some honorable mentions. Some of them have been discussed previously, so I won't really go into them too much. But in terms of my honorable mentions of things I enjoyed in 2025, you know, circle back to Rakush's episode to hear my thoughts on the rehearsal season 2. If I had to say a specific moment in particular, Rakush, I guess, you know, if people were interested at the very least, after we discussed it during your episodes, they've probably watched it already.
Yeah.
So I think the reveal that Nathan, in what seemed to be a bit, but not really, actually got his pilot license was, I wouldn't say it was a punchline, but that reveal to kind of bring the entire season together literally floored me. And just the fact that the closing shot of him flying the plane and him saying that, oh, if you're a pilot, there isn't anything wrong with you. There can't be anything wrong with you. Striking, like, incredible way to end the season and bring everything together.
Genuinely one
Rakush,
of the wildest final episodes ever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what did you think of the pilot license reveal?
I mean, that whole thing, like, I was genuinely shocked at everything that happened in that last episode, right? Like, him actually going through with the things that he went through with, insane. And then there's also, like, okay, if you haven't watched the rehearsal season 2, or if you're going to do a second watch of it, I also recommend watching it from the perspective of, like, method acting and, like, how much of a deep dive it is into sort of, like, the whole process of prepping to be a method actor and stuff like that as well, because that also gives you a whole different perspective on that series that's, like, kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
In a different way.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Legit nuts. Was such a wild reveal. Honorable mentions to continue. Rakush mentioned it during his episode. After I said Mira was my number 2 favorite Fortnite skin. K-pop Demon Hunters. I know I was a bit sour on it when we first talked about it on the Mistake Zone, but, you know, it's undeniable, like, the pop cultural impact that this, you know, brand has had, or this property has had. Just seeing the success of all the different voice actresses, just them getting their flowers, and just to see how adopted this property, this IP has become. I don't know. All the songs really grew on me. Golden still is a bop. How it's done, a bop. Mira's design, top notch. Plus the fact that when I was in Korea, so much K-pop Demon Hunters collab food items, cafe items. The fact that I have a Mira Shin Ramen in my cupboard right now makes me really happy. And I guess for my last honorable mention, because Matt, this cover came out actually in between us recording last year's Things of the Year episode and 2026 itself, I believe. But this one came out tail end of 2024. But I have to shout out Matt, the Pizza Family, you know, Aruran, Ao, Marika, Maloko, Rimu, Matake, Aria, Toko, Ditto. Their cover of the boys' style song, Kokoro no Shizu. Matt, I love me the Pizza Family. You know, these are a group of VTubers that came together during, I believe, a what was it? One of those Crazy Raccoon GTA playthroughs or, sessions. And considering everything that transpired in 2025, this cover represents, I think, better times, if I have to be completely honest. And I don't know, the Pizza family as a unit, I guess, had some losses in the last year, but that we'll always have this cover. We'll always have the clips. And shout out to Ao. I hope she's doing okay. But there's this TikTok account I should link you to. And I feel like this content creator is doing okay, which makes me feel real good. But with my honorable mentions out of the way, boys, here are my, sort of in order, sort of not, but, it's just vibes. It's just vibes. But here are 25 things that I enjoyed in 2025. Coming in at number 25 is something that I've been meaning to talk to on the Mistake Zone for some time, real quick, or, for some time now. But in particular, the first chapter of a manga called Miyu-chan Will Always Be Your Friend, where I think right now, from what I've read around 30 chapters, but, I think some of the arcs within those 30 chapters are a bit hit or miss, but chapter 1 in particular is such a striking chapter with two notable plot twists, and one of those being the cliffhanger ending of the chapter itself, where, without going into it, Miyu-chan Will Always Be Your Friend is essentially a whodunit murder mystery amongst a group of, I want to say, high schoolers. It's drawn really, it has a more cute art style, so, having that cute exterior that's pretty happy-go-lucky while still having this kind of darker, overarching story underneath is something that's really appealing to me. But the first chapter in particular, to really showcase who Miyu-chan is as a character, and flips what you kind of expect this character will be, not once but twice, is just something that always sticks to me, even though, as I said before, some of the other chapters might not necessarily stick the landing. I do think the first chapter of Miyu-chan Will Always Be Your Friend is something to at least check out as a one-off chapter at the very least, and let your imagination do the rest of the heavy lifting. But for number 24, Matt, as someone who is also a fan of Zenless Zone Zero, and as my friend, you're no stranger to me complaining about, honestly, how much I don't actually like the current, chapter of Zenless Zone Zero, chapter 2. Matt, I don't like the disciple stuff. I think it goes against everything I liked that was established in chapter 1 of who Bell and Wise are, and to have them become this disciple, I think takes away some of the charm that I really liked about the first chapter, and everything I liked, what really made me attracted to the game's story and lore and narrative. Not to mention, Matt, the miasma stuff, not a fan. I think it's a dumb mechanic, and I just hate it. Where there were a few times I was really considering dropping Zenless Zone Zero. But Matt, if it wasn't for our friends at Spook Shack, my 24th things that I enjoy was just Spook Shack as a unit. Matt, you know me. Rakush, you also know me. I love friendship. I love quirky youths being quirky youths. And I feel like at least Spook Shack Part 1 had that tenfolds, where even that story chapter in particular, them opening a beach resort for some reason, is just the perfect amount of batshit anime that I was missing from Zenless Zone Zero. So it was really good to take a break from all of the disciple stuff and, just make new friends. And, when we got Spook Shack Part 2 with some new characters, it kind of lost some of the charm that I originally liked, but, it somehow stuck the landing for me overall. I love these goofy goopers, Matt, where I I know you love Trigger. I love me some. I think if I had to pick a agent of the year, it would be Yuzu. Just overall fun characters. Love quirky youths being quirky youths, as I said, and I want to thank Spook Shack for pulling me back when I was about to drop Zenless Zone Zero. But going to number 23, have to shout out our boy DK and Donkey Kong Bananza boys. I just love this game. This is a video game. It really scratched the itch that, Mario Odyssey left in me. And I think it just controls well. I love just punching stuff as Donkey Kong. Boys, you know me. I love me some good close quarter combat in video games. I love me some good fisticuffs. And Donkey Kong just punching stuff, punching rocks, destroying everything. It's just really satisfying. Bosses could be a bit more difficult, but then again, I'm also just a baby boy that likes vibes, and this definitely has vibes. Matt, can you give me a good banana, because I can't do the banana voice?
Oh, banana!
So good, Matt. So good.
Still a good stinger.
Well, since we're still on the Nintendo train, number 22, I have to shout out the Pokemon trading card game and two specific releases in Mega Evolutions and Mega Dream. These are two Pokemon sets that came out this year. In particular, for Mega Evolutions, it's when my partner and I ripped the Mega Gardevoir EX card, the special illustration art. Because boys, let's face it, this year for all the Pokemon releases, didn't really hit anything. Where I think Destined Rivals was like the Team Rocket adjacent set of the year. You should have seen how sad I was after we did our rips and we literally got nothing, where I too was pretty close to swearing off buying sealed product at that point. But with Mega Evolutions, when Rakush, get the anti-gambling number ready, because when you hit boy, you're back in, boys, just to get a card that you've been actively searching for after ripping 50 more. You essentially win the lottery at that point, and it feels good. It feels too good.
Gambler.
Thanks, Rakush. And also, gotta shout out the latest release, at least for Japan, Mega Dream. I talked about this set in particular. When we were in Japan, it came out. When we were there, we were able to get, one pack per Pokemon Center visit when they had them in stock. And at the time of the recording, we recently ripped all 18 packs, and boy, did we hit some hits. Specifically, the certain Charizard card that we got two of those in the 18 packs that we did, which were some pretty good rates. Essentially, if we were to sell those, that would have paid for a good chunk of the Pokemon cards we purchased during this trip. But of course, we won't sell them. But we still made the profit in our head. #girl math. But yeah, ripping Pokemon cards feels good. And Rakush, if 2026 is your opening One Piece card journey, I'm all for it.
Bro,
I hope you rip some One Piece cards this year.
Bro, all the Pokemon people are buying up all the One Piece cards right now. It's slim pickings out there. You guys need to go back to Pokemon.
And you need to go to Japan, specifically to any Bandai Namco store, and buy yourself some cheap packs. That's something I regret not doing for myself.
I should specify, the Japanese cards, easy peasy to find those. So that's fine. It's the English stuff that's getting like overly inflated right now for One Piece. Kinda sucks.
Yeah. I'm not collecting those, so
You're good. You're good.
I apologize I don't want to apologize for my Pokemon brethren, because damn. In those Pokemon lines, the scalpers, damn. Hate to see it. Hate to hear it at the very least.
You know what I hate seeing? Like photos on Reddit of people walking around with weighing scales.
Classic.
As someone who walked around with a weighing scale to get his M. Bison Kid Robot blind box figure.
Damn.
I remember those days.
I've been there.
Damn.
I've been there, boys. But going on to number 21 of things I liked in 2025, have to shout out, this might be a surprise, Rock is a lady's modesty. Boys, I love me a good band anime, specifically a good girl band anime. And I said it during my Japan recap. This was just something that I really vibed with. I do think Odo and Lily's chemistry as the two main characters really great. Supporting characters were fun as well. Sure, they hit some of the basic tropes, but I think it's just a fun anime, especially if you like, the girl band genre. And gotta admit, the theme song, the opening credits, I believe it's Ready to Rock by Bandmade. It's just a fun opening credit scene. I never skip it whenever I watched an episode. So yeah, if you're just looking for some, not necessarily this in the same vein as Bang Dream, potentially maybe of Majika, but I do recommend Rock is the Lady's Modesty. And speaking of that, boys, I know I told Matt this recently, but I'm actually rewatching Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
Nice.
Still holds up. Still holds up. One of my favorite anime of all time. And Jaren? I want to thank Rock. What's up?
Are you watching it dubbed, or are you watching like the English dub version that has the Much Music logo in the bottom right corner?
I'm watching the. Actually, I am currently watching the dubbed version, but unfortunately, my whatever I'm watching doesn't have the Much Music logo. I wish I got
the clean version.
Yeah. I have the unpure version, unfortunately.
Oh man,
Jaren, once you get past that swimming pool scene, go back and watch the Chainsaw Man Resi swimming pool scene and see how similar like the vibes are.
Of course. Well, Rakush, I can't believe you're, once again ruining my list. But
I'm sorry.
We'll get to that in a couple of sections. But
I'll stop talking.
Number 20 for things I liked this year. Boys, this might be kind of surprising, but if you listen to my Japanese trip, you won't be surprised. Number 20 is actually a meal I had in St. Catharines at the restaurant Fat Rabbit, specifically their T-bone steak.
That's a good
name. I think with Fat Rabbit as a restaurant, I think after we went this year, not saying we did anything to do this, but I was actually not surprised, but to see it get on the Michelin's guide, to see it be noted, from some publications as one of the 50 best steakhouses in the world. Have to say, I'm glad that we went when we did before all of this buzz came, because I'm going to assume it's just going to be hard to get a table now. But in terms of the steak itself, I'll admit, I'm not necessarily a steak person, where maybe it's because when I typically have had restaurant steak, it's been at, those steakhouse chains like the Kegs or what Montana's, or things of that like, where they're pretty good, but it's nothing I'd really write home about. But when I say that this T-bone steak was cooked to perfection, just the quality of meat, it was something that I really enjoyed, really was happy to be able to try, where I'm not sure how slammed this place is being with all of the press, but if you find yourself in St. Catharines, Ontario, and are able to get a table at Fat Rabbit, check it out. Check out their T-bone steak. Check out their sticky toffee pudding. It's some good times there. It's some good times. And honestly, the day we actually went, we had this pop-up beside the place that they sponsored with a bunch of different local brewers, a lot of like a whole roasted pig, so you can get like a pig plate or a pulled pork sandwich, and it was just good times all around, good vibes all around. Where Matt, Rakush, gotta ask, how do you feel about steak, just in terms of your food preferences?
I mean, I enjoy steak. I think for me though, recently my preferred cut of beef is like rib or like prime rib. I don't know, but like I don't know. I enjoy me a good medium rare to medium steak.
Oh yeah.
I actually go to one of these fancy steakhouses though.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Rakush?
I love eating steak. but I think I gotta kind of watch how frequently I eat it,
Right.
so that it doesn't.
We're old. I forgot now.
Well, that too, but I just don't want it to lose like a little bit of its appeal, right? Like if you keep eating the same thing regularly enough, like you don't necessarily appreciate it when you eat it at like a fancier place. So I think that's what steaks are for me.
Yeah. Again, I think there was a time where I would just buy, cheap cuts of steak from, the supermarket and make steak sandwiches. And, that really takes away from what your palate expects steak can be when you cook it like shit. So to have master chefs make you a great T-bone steak at Fat Rabbit, something I think about often when I have a steak and think, damn, it's not the same. It's not the same. Number 19, Matt, you mentioned it during your list, but got a shout out, unfortunately, Umamusume. It's just something that it was my number one Steam played game.
Let me get the number ready. Steam
this year. But, what Matt said still applies to me as well. And my, I believe, 190 hours of playtime, excluding all the playtime I had on my phone as well. Matt, you know what I mean. But if I had to celebrate something from the game specifically, it's how good the reroll was. Or Matt, I think this was one of the best rerolls of a gacha game I've ever played. Where if you don't, it was pretty quick to get, your first 10 pull. The amount of premium currency they gave you at the bat during the launch period was hefty, where you got 90 pulls or so. And then, once you did the tutorial the first time, you can just instantly skip it for all your rerolls. You get in, reroll. If you don't like it, just delete all the data, go back to the main menu, and you're good to go. Where I know why games don't let you have easy rerolls, but for Umamusume to have an easy reroll.
They know their audience, Jaren. They know their audience.
Gotta love it.
Call 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Oh man. And Matt, if I had to pick my Uma of the year, have to go with our girl, Ogiri. She has her own anime, Matt. Did you know that? It's called Cinderella Grey.
I should get my carrots for Cinderella Grey's episode this week.
Oh man, she's a mood, Matt. Matt, she likes to eat food. I too like to eat food. Hence the connection there. Number 18 for things I like this year. My first music entry is the album "I Love My Computer" from Ninajirachi, where I think this is just a fun EDM album, fun electronic album, really fun production, and it screams energy of, hey, I grew up on MySpace, and from the song titles to just some of the production choices. Honestly, when I listen to music, I'm there for vibes, but I think with Ninajirachi's album, it's one of those, damn, I wish I produced this, because it feels within reach, but still so far away, where it's just a fun album. Listened to it a lot this year, accompanied me and my dog as we walked countless times. So if you're looking just for a fun EDM album, do check out I Love My Computer, because I too love my computer, but not as much as Ninajirachi. Number 17, Matt, I'm always chasing the high of Pico Moon. As VTuber fans, me specifically, Pekara and Muna's that Pico Moon run, all timer, and I've been chasing that high since. And if I can't have a new Pico Moon, and that let's just say the latest Pico Moon clip I watched, I don't think I'll get any Pico Moon anytime soon.
Oh no.
But if I can't have that Pizza Family be my cover of the year, I think my cover of the year goes to Kaela Kovalskia and Ouro Kronii's Bunny Girl.
Okay.
Matt, I love this cover just because it does do the flip of when you, knowing quote unquote knowing Kaela and knowing Kronii, you would think that Kaela would do the deep voice section of the song, and Kronii would do kind of the higher pitch portion of the song. And for them to flip it and have Kronii do the lower pitch and Kaela to do the higher one, so unexpected. I think their voices complement them so much. And it's just the fact that I think their chemistry when they stream, when they create content together, is honestly unmatched in Hololive right now. And as much as I love me some good grindstone with Kaela and Bibu, Matt, you can't top Kaela and Kronii. Like, and I feel like the Bunny Girl cover just represents their run for this year. So I have to give it up to them. Got to put my angry face in the chat as well for the memes. But Matt, didn't get to ask you during your episode, but was there any VTuber or just covers in general this year that stick out to you?
Ooh, Jared, honestly, you caught me lacking right now because I can't really think of any right now.
All right. But maybe I'll ask you again. But moving on to number 16, still on that music tip. It was actually something you mentioned in your episode, Matt. Personally, my OP of the year, despite not watching the anime itself, I got a shout out. What is it? Bake no Kawa, or Under the Mask by MAISONdes, featuring Kobo, Kanaeru, Kasane, Teto, and with production from Giga and TeddyLoid. Where that Rakush, I've said it before, Giga remains one of my favorite Vocaloid producers, one of my favorite Japanese producers. Anytime he and TeddyLoid link up to produce anything, it's a jam. Under the Mask, no exception. And then, of course, you add vocals from Kobo. You add, Teto as a Vocaloid to it as well. And then, Matt, it's the whole... Did you look into kind of people kind of analyzing the song and how having, a VTuber and a Vocaloid that wasn't supposed to be an actual Vocaloid sing the theme song to Nausea, or whatever it's called, is oddly fitting, where, damn, it's oddly fitting. But at the same time, song slaps, great opening. And if not singing its praises wasn't enough, I think this OP definitely would get me to watch Nausea eventually this year. But going on to number 15, it was mentioned by Rakush in his episode, but won't go too much into it. But Catch Me at the Ballpark was actually one of my favorite anime of the year. As I said in Rakush's episode, just a really comfy anime, lots of good side stories, lots of good mini stories. And you know what, boys? In another world, Ruriko would probably be my girl of the year 2025. But we'll save that thought for later on in the show, but still got to give it to Catch Me at the Ballpark for just being a fun anime.
It's like he's reading my mind. I was gonna ask you who your girl of the year is.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Rakush. But number 14, boys, I think this in particular is just a good thought exercise where I'll just say it. Silent Hill F is one of my favorite games of the year, where when you think about, when people usually list games of the year, their favorite gaming experiences, they're mostly, chances are someone will tell you this game is mechanically sound, that the story comes together, that, something like all aspects of this game are outstanding. And with Silent Hill F, I can totally acknowledge that. One, combat, not the greatest. Two, the fact that if you really want to have the full experience of the story, you do need to play this game like 3 times at the very least. And even then, you'll get to diminishing returns, where even though a lot of people say, just play it once and then watch the other endings, I still feel like you don't get the full narrative, the full and just all the information in doing that. But as a whole, Silent Hill F was just a game I fell in love with this year. I think Hinako as a character is a really strong protagonist. Her voice actress in Kanatsu Kaito just did a really exceptional job. And just watching her and even Yuka Ijima, who played, I believe it was Rika or Rinko in the game, just watching them play the game itself as just this meta bonus for Silent Hill as a whole is just really fun. I do recommend the game so much if you're looking for a solid survival horror, Japanese inspired narrative. And yeah, it's just making me excited for horror games once again. Since, as I said when I first talked about this game to you guys, I'm so used to being, someone like Chris in Resident Evil, someone like Leon in Resident Evil, big meaty men with big meaty guns defending myself with big meaty ammo. So just to have return to that survival horror, like a more pure experience, is just something that will stick with me. The narrative will stick with me. And without going too much, I think the UFO ending in particular is everything I like about slice of life anime rolled into a survival horror ending. But moving on to
actually
another album.
What's up? Sorry, Rakush? Before you move on, plug. You and Julian did do a spoiler cast as well. If anybody wants to go and listen back to it, I believe it's one of the November episodes. Pretty cool listen, actually. Like, I did give it a listen. Haven't played the game. Thought it was pretty insightful.
I know we've been meaning to do another one to actually discuss all the endings proper, since in that one we only discussed like the first ending. So
yes,
maybe we'll do that one day. But moving on to number 13 of things I liked this year, another album. No surprise, but boys, I loved me the Skrillex mixtape entitled, and I quote, "Fuck you, Skrillex. You think you're Andy Warhol, but you're not." Exclamation point, heart emoji. I think this is just a really fun EDM album once again. It's Skrillex being Skrillex, I think what's really neat about this in particular is, throughout his career, throughout like a lot of his DJ sets, he'll play some songs that he'll never just officially release. And for him to finally release some of those, most wanted unreleased tracks amongst the community in this album was just a nice thing to come across one day. One, I didn't even know this album was coming out, where I just opened up Spotify one day and just saw it out, and it literally was something that carried a lot of my drives to and from London, Ontario at the time. Where another thing I really like about the album is at least some of the more recent EDM albums that I've listened to over the past few years don't really have, they feel like actual albums and less like DJ sets. So for Skrillex on this album to, present it like an actual DJ set with really good transitions, really good kind of DJ vocal drops, and just the things like that. It's everything that I kind of would want out of a Skrillex album presented as a proper DJ set. So if you're just looking for more Skrillex bullshit, definitely check out his release this year. Number 12, still on that music tip, have to shout out the Auto concert, her Hibana show here in Toronto earlier this year. I bought the really expensive pen light. I waved it around. But overall, I said it during my recap when I talked to you guys about it earlier this year. I wish we saw more of her silhouette, but, what can you do when your whole thing is to protect your image, to be really private? But again, as a vocalist, I just think Otto's amazing. Just to see some of my favorite songs performed live, and even some songs I didn't expect to be performed live, like specifically the Charles cover. It was just a really fun time, really entertaining. And the fact that I was able to get merch and have it be noticed by a B-side label employee in Japan. And then when we just talked about Otto, our favorite songs through Passion Japanese and Passion English, that moment doesn't happen if I didn't go to the Otto Hibana show in Toronto. So gotta shout that out as well. We're also shout out to Otto being on Coca-Cola machines and recommending Georgia coffee for you to drink. So thanks, Otto. So number 11, before we get into the top 10, still once again on that music tip, Matt, I have to shout out the return of KizunaAI, specifically her song Kamone. Matt, I love this song so much. It was one of my most played songs of the year. And it's the fact that, at least in my experience with VTubers, when someone goes on hiatus, when someone retires, when someone graduates, sure, they might come back in some form, but for all intents purposes, that specific persona might never come back. And when when I went on hiatus, deep down, considering everything, the performer, the content creator, and the character has gone through over the years, I'll admit it, Matt, when I went on hiatus, I didn't think she would come back. And for her to return with Kamone, it's just such a good song. And for her to essentially not miss a step was great to see. And Matt, gotta agree with Polka from Hololive. It's nice to know that our VTubers are still growing up, and she's essentially a gal mom now, and that makes me happy. That makes me happy. So shout out to KizunaAI and check out Kamone if you haven't. Now, boys, we're in the top 10. Rakush, you asked who my anime girl of the year would be. Would it be fair to say it's anime girls of the year? Because Matt,
it's your list.
No surprise. But number 10, I guess my second favorite anime of the year. Have to give it to our girls Wada and Yamamoto, and See You Tomorrow at the Food Court. I think just as an anime, the 6-episode runtime, or season length, was, I think, the perfect length for something like this. Because, Matt, I remember when you were telling Rakush about this show, one, you wished it was in English, because this is essentially a podcast. But I think what really means a lot to me in terms of See You Tomorrow at the Food Court was the fact that, Matt, I don't want to be this guy, but we were kind of on the ground floor of this. We followed when, what was it? Shinichiro Nari, was sharing this on Twitter, and in turn was being posted on the manga sites that we followed. So to see, this web comic, this Twitter comic get picked up, serialized, and then all of a sudden get an anime, it's all about the journey, Matt. And to see the journey of these characters hit, just become an anime, I thought it was just great to see. Again, I really like the chemistry between these two characters. And I was kind of skeptical not really skeptical, but, cautiously optimistic how it would translate into an anime. And I feel like for what it is, this is definitely something I still recommend. Love these characters, whether you read it as a manga or watch it as an anime. See You Tomorrow at the Food Court, definitely one of my favorite anime of the year, but also just characters in general, good chemistry between the two. And I hope their adventures continue, because I'm not sure I've seen a chapter from them in some time.
Yeah.
But
also, really good opening for this one. You were asking last episode about those. Pretty good opening.
Really good opening as well. But going on to number 9, Matt, no surprise. I love me some VTubers from Hololive ID. And specifically, if I had to pick my VTuber song of the year, it would go to Anya Mafisa and her song Chronic, where this song was, I think, technically number 2 of my most listened to songs of the year. I think this is just a really fun song. I think Anya as a vocalist continues to really grow and really find her voice as a performer, where, again, this is just a fun song, really catchy instrumental, and lyrics, you know, you can leave it up to interpretation whether you want it to be that, you know, traditional pop song about trying to find romance, or even reading deep into it and having a more existential look at yourself in general. I think it's just a really fun song overall, and I really hope that Anya continues to release music and continues to refine her voice and become an even better performer. Shout out to Hololive ID. Number 8 of things I liked this year, Sinners. Shout out to that movie just overall. If you want my thoughts, go back to Rakush's episode where he gave me a good layup there. But yeah, specifically the epilogue, specifically the music scene in the juke joint, just really phenomenal stuff, something I still think about. And yeah, gotta ask you, Rakush, would you want to see more from this universe, or do you think that this is a perfect place to be a one and done?
I'm always hesitant about saying everything needs to be a franchise. If there's a cool story to tell, sure, but I think if there's no more in this universe, I'm also perfectly happy with just this movie. Fair.
And what a movie it is. Moving on to number 7. Not no surprise, but if I had to technically pick a game of the year, it too would go to Blueprints. And, you know, you said it best in your episode, but if I had to highlight 2 specific memories for me, one, Matt, I have to shout out the book in the game, A New Clue, because that book in particular, the amount of times I complained to you about A New Clue, and the fact that once you start digging into it and just how much of that game opens up from that one, you know, thing you unlock is insane. I think A New Clue, whenever I think back of my time with Blueprints, it's one, I still need to get the Machinarium or the mechanical room key, and 2, how much I love and hate A New Clue all the same. Such a good portion of the game. And if I had to also shout out another memory of mine, Matt, have to love me the speedrunning tech to finish the game in like a day, or finish the, you know, do the challenge run. Because me looking up speedrunning videos and recreating glitching out of the level, landing in certain areas to have other things trigger, feels good, man. Feels real good. Did I earn those achievements the right way? No. Did I earn those achievements? I think I did, Matt. I think I did. Number 6, before we get into the top 5, probably my most listened to album of the year. This goes to The Clips, Let God Sort 'Em. Just damn, Pusha T, Malice still have it after all these years. I know Pusha T specifically has released some of my favorite albums of the last decade. Malice, more low key, still releasing music, but not too, you know, the mainstream as Pusha T has. But, you know, for them to come together in this album, really great, showing something that really accompanied me through many dog walks, through many car rides. And to start off with a really emotional song in The Birds Don't Sing, just gives me a tummy ache, a tribute to their deceased parents. And I don't know, I think it was really an unexpected way to start an album, but one I really appreciate. Just because once you get past that really emotional song, you get into, from like tracks 2 to at least 10, just that run is really hardcore hip hop. Just really witty lines, just really great instrumentals, just one of my favorite albums of the year. If I had to pick a favorite song, too many to name. Rakush mentioned Stovebot Cooks last week. His hook, his chorus on FICO, classic. So Be It, one of my favorite songs. I'm really glad that the original version ended up being on the album as a whole, because there was that hot second where there was So Be It Part 2, which just had a different instrumental, not feeling it. So for the original to be on the final release made me happy. And here we are, my top 5 of my favorite things of the year. Once again, going into recognizable territory, but I got to shout out Chainsaw Man, the movie, the Reze arc. What more can I say that hasn't been said, especially from Rakush and his episode? But gotta say, that pool scene in particular, after rewatching back, yep. Rakush, that's essentially the same scene, more or less.
It is.
Essentially the same scene. So, I guess I'll take this time to just say how much. I don't know. I was debating. I know this is supposed to be me celebrating Chainsaw Man, but I think Matt, you hate to pin anime movies against one another. But as much as I love the Demon Slayer movie, I think as a whole, I just preferred Chainsaw Man. And not to say that the Demon Slayer movie this year was bad per se, but I think now that some months have passed, I feel like that could have been rearranged a lot better. I feel like the pacing could have been a lot better. Well,
could have had considerable parts removed that didn't need to be there. Yeah.
That too. Where I think just as a movie, even if you don't have that big of a grasp on Chainsaw Man as a whole, I think it does stand alone. And Rakush, you even saw it when I talked about this movie. Like, this is where the franchise, the IP as a whole, really clicked for me. And have to ask though, Rakush, is it true that when I saw this floating around, but I couldn't tell if this was a meme or if this actually happened? Did Fujimoto really say that he didn't understand why Makima stops Rizzy from seeing Denji at the end? Or is that just like a meme going around?
I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because, dog, you're the one who wrote it. Like, if you don't understand why Makima stopped her, then, like, rewrite the thing. I don't know. I thought that was a funny thing where when I saw that floating around my algorithm, I couldn't tell if that was real because boys, we should normalize putting sources once again in created content. Can't trust anything on your algo these days. But yeah, I'm gonna get a Bomb Devil pop-up parade when that figure comes out. But boys, still don't. Okay, I understand why Reze merch is more expensive than Makima merch. And we'll leave it at that. So for number 4, I have to give it to my favorite song of the year in Carly Rae Jepsen's More. This was the 10-year anniversary of her album Emotion, and part of that album rollout was, a few bonus songs for the 10th anniversary print, some remixes, and one of those songs was the lead single of, I guess, the re-release in More, where I love this song so much. I think it is, even though I believe parts of it did come, at least were written during the original Emotion sessions, this is definitely a song that could have been released 10 years ago and wouldn't feel out of place. Yet it does have some production that is reminiscent to what you would find on some of her later work, especially The Loveliest Time, where I think this is just a really fun song. Carly Rae Jepsen just continues to be a great vocalist, makes amazing pop music. And I'm really curious with her, getting married and having a child this year, just how that will influence her music moving forward. But More as a song, just such a bop. Love it so much. Probably not surprised it wasn't on my top 10 most listened to songs of the year, but it was number 11. And to be fair, it did come out later in the year as well. So have to shout out that Carly Rae song. Number 3, honestly, no surprise. Rewind to my Japan trip recap episode, but of course, my anime of the year, my number 3 thing of the year, has to go to The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. And I'm gonna take this portion of the episode to kind of shout out specifically my favorite episode of the season. I know I mentioned it in passing, but episode 9 in particular, Blonde Hair and Pierced Ears, is a episode I've watched at least several times, whether it be on a plane, trying to fall asleep. This was the infamous episode that made me cry on airplane to Korea, where I think what I love about this episode in particular is when it is that full circle moment of this is when we really see Rintaro come to really realize that his friends really trust him. But what I really do like about this episode is we get to see more of his family dynamic. We get to see not only why he has blonde hair and pierced ears, but why his mom has blonde hair and pierced ears, where, boys, I love me strong family connections in anime. And I think this is one of the better presentations of that, just to see the relationship between Rintaro and his mom. And honestly, this is when you come to realize, oh, his dad actually is still alive and still a positive figure in his life as well, albeit that comes more into play, I believe, in episode 11 or so. But yeah, I think this episode just has everything I adore about this season in all, and I'm really excited to see more just from these quirky kids and their relationship. But to see Rintaro's mom realize how her just looking out for her son and to see that being returned to her and how she reacts to it, damn, boys, cried me a river on the plane. Thankfully, my neighbors were asleep, so they didn't see me blowing my nose repeatedly.
Do they have blonde hair because they really like the hit anime series Bleach?
No, they have blonde hair because as a child, Rintaro essentially was going to give up trying to make friends because no one liked him. And one day he went to a cafe with his family and he saw that the baker was from America and he had blonde hair and pierced ears. And he thought, hey, I want to be everything that I perceive this person to represent. So I want to dye my hair blonde. I want to have pierced ears. And to Rintaro's mom, that was the first time he showed something that he actually wanted. And to support him, she dyed her hair. She pierced her ears because she knew that, if people that go to their cafe, to their bakery, thought that, oh, that's weird that their kid has blonde hair and pierced ears, she did it for him, Rakush. She did for him. And damn, I'm cheering off just thinking about it.
And that American baker, he was a Bleach fan.
Yes. Shout out to Rukia for having a really good Bleach skin in Fortnite.
And the baker's name was Tite Kubo.
Don't think so, but maybe. I didn't read the credits. Wait, I don't think they actually had a speaking role, so I couldn't tell you if that was actually what their name actually was.
With the sunglasses.
No sunglasses, Rakush.
Dang.
No sunglasses.
Dang.
Also, shout out to the confession scene, because damn, I also cried at that. Matt, don't you love when people actually confess in anime?
Yeah, I know. Love to see it.
I love that. Matt and Rakush. Shout out Dress Up Darling. I guess. Number 2 for things of the year. Once again, have to retread familiar ground, but of course, my Japan trip 2025, where this was not Rakush. I could do a top 25 things I did in Japan for this trip, but I don't know. This was, as I said in that episode, third time around. I feel like I was able to experience more things that I haven't before, yet, tread places that we've been before just in a new light. The fact that I was able to use Passion Japanese and not only be complimented, even though they were just being polite, but also met with blank stares that made me want to crawl into a hole and kill myself. Great. Just all around good times. And boys, the amount of egg sandos, Fammy chicken, and waffle ice cream bars that I ate, disgusting, but I miss it dearly. Where, just what more can I say? Go listen to that episode to, relive some of my food experiences. And honestly, just thinking about my trip this year makes me excited to hear about Rakush's trip sometime next year as well. So just good times around. Hope to go back sometime soon, but if I don't, we'll always have those memories. And my number one favorite thing of the year in 2025 is something I do have a love-hate relationship with. But of course, I got to give it to moving back to where we are right now. And to kind of give some context to that, 3 years ago, I moved away from, the GTA suburb that we are now to London, Ontario, which is roughly, 2 hours away. And I moved in with my partner, and that was all fine until she got a job kind of closer to Toronto. And for, I think, 6 months or so, we had this situation where we would only see each other on the weekends, but then I would stay in London. Mind you, to no one's surprise, didn't actually have any friends in London. Not that I minded, but it was the fact that, in our relationship, we would only see each other on the weekends. The fact that didn't have any friends in London. I technically had family, but I wasn't really, one to go out when I probably really should have. And it was just kind of this weird, lonely in-between experience. And then, things worked out. We were able to sell that place and, start our journey trying to find a new place in the Greater Toronto area. And, just taking in the good, the bad, and for us to end up where we are now is probably one of my favorite things of the year. A lot of tough times as well, just because moving sucks, you guys, and just things that I didn't expect to working out, and thinking about some times where I would underestimate how hard moving was, but also overestimate how hard it was, and that resulted in, of course, more friendship, where Matt and Rakush would be the last two friends to visit me in London. And thank you guys once again for helping me move. And it was really good to, show you guys that place, go around London one last time to some of the spots we ate at. We got those chicken sandos, and I know Rakush, you wanted to get that panzerotti, I believe.
Yeah.
Rakush, did you hear?
What happened?
That place shut down?
Are you serious?
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, man. And,
it's a good thing Jaren moved.
I should mess with my friend, because the way I found out about that place is a good friend of mine. Her dad used to go to that place for his birthday, and his birthday is around Christmas time every year. So that sucks, man.
Yeah, I believe it shut down from what I saw on the London, Ontario subreddit, where, yeah, I just the ups and downs to finally land where we are now is something that, I really appreciate. And, this really opened up the fact that we're able to see our family a lot more. We're in theory, able to see our friends a lot more. One day I'll invite you guys proper to once we're settled in. I don't know when that will be, but one more story I have to say about this moving process. In that when we were trying to find a place in the Greater Toronto area, there was one house in particular that we had our sights on. it was one of the houses that we instantly fell in love with. Good location. It was for the most part done. Basement wasn't like the basement was in good shape. Essentially, it wasn't a done basement, but good interiors aside from that, good location, and we thought, hey, let's put a offer in on this one. So we discussed what we would feel was a good offer that we both could afford, and we put it out there. And I know when we went to the open house, like a week prior, the real estate agent for that place, was honest, was, yeah, I have my own thoughts on what this house should go for. The father has his own thoughts of what it should go for. The mother has her own thoughts. The kids have their own thoughts. So realistically, red flag number one. But we thought, okay, we're going to put in an offer that was around $50K over the listing price. And mind you, in trying to buy a house this year, boys, I hate when people try to do bidding wars. I think it's like dog shit. Like, I feel like you should just put, especially in the market we were in at the time, you should just put the price you want instead of trying to play games, because I fucking hate that. So we put our offer, and then the next day after, all the offers were accepted, we find out that 13 offers were made for that house in particular. The owner didn't accept any, and the house was taken off the market and relisted. So boys, remember when I said we put 50 over the asking price? This house was relisted 600K over asking price. And we thought that was insane, where no way is this house worth that much when you consider the comps in the area, what houses recently sold as. But they were at that point asking, over 2 million, and we thought, that's nuts. I hope you don't get it. So, things work out.
Sorry, anybody listening from outside of Toronto, just want to point out, like, this is very much the norm, how the real estate industry and, like, the real estate market works, at least in, like, Ontario and in the greater Toronto area, because, folks might be living in places where, like, these numbers might sound insane, but no, this is pretty much the norm in this day and age here.
But it was nuts that, for them to list so low to start a bidding war, for them to, go to the other side of the spectrum and be like, no, we want 2K over this house.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, whatever, fuck them. And luckily we found another house, the home we are in right now. Everything worked out. Love the location we're in, closer to our families. So everything works out. The kicker, boys, we still kept an eye on this one house. So for them, so we kept seeing them, gradually decrease the listing price, because of course no one was biting at over 2 mil at that point. Boys, the house recently sold. Guess how much it sold for?
Under the asking price that you guys
Under
had?
the original asking price.
Insane.
And that gave me a good LOL. So yeah. We bought a house. We sold the old one. And we're closer to friends and family. All the nights that I was freaking out, trying to get everything in order, all paid off. And yeah, hopefully one day I'll unpack all the Nendoroids, all their acrylics that I bought in Japan, and invite you guys over to let you guys stare at shelves full of my nonsense. Because, boys, this truly is the mistake zone. And that is my list of the 25 things that I liked in 2025. But, boys, the party's not done, because it wouldn't be a mistake zone party without a certain challenge. And Matt, Rakush, I think it's time. Can we name 100 anime women? Okay, Matt, go. Number one.
Oh no. Luffy. Oh shit. No.
One day, Matt. One day. But this will be the Don't Match Me challenge for, I guess, the final Don't Match Me challenge of our end of the year celebrations, where, of course, the Don't Match Me challenge is every week we're going to bring you 5 questions, and all you have to do is not match our answers. You know, if you want to play on normal modes, feel free just to not match me. But if you want a little more difficult round, try not to match Matt and Rakush as well. And of course, boys, I just looked back at some of my favorite things of 2025. So once again, here is the Don't Match Me Jaren 2025 grab bag. Just going through my list of things I liked this year and picking through those. But question 1, boys, I told you that I opened some Pokemon cards this year, including some from, Team Rocket adjacent sets, Eevee adjacent sets, and of course Mega adjacent sets. But, we'll start it a bit easier and harken back to, Matt, was it this year that we introduced the Don't Match Me challenge, or was it last year?
That was last year. It was last year.
Okay. But let's do a full circle. And Matt, Rakush, name any of the original 151 Pokemon. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boys, if you said Dugtrio, you're out.
Ooh.
1 in 151. So hopefully you're not out. But Matt, which Pokemon are you choosing?
I mean, I went with my Super Smash Bros. Homeboy. I went with Ivysaur.
Oh, good call. Good call. Rakush, who's your Pokemon?
I went with Coughing.
Ooh.
Oh. Rakush, I hope after the plane, your plane ride, you're not coughing at all.
I also hope that.
Actually, I didn't mention, or did I mention? I don't know. Time's a blur. But I'm actually surprised I didn't get sick during my Japan trip, just because apparently there was a really bad flu going on. But luckily, didn't catch anything. But anyway, boys, I said Sinners was one of my favorite movies of the year. And we got to shout out Michael B. Jordan, noted anime fan who likes Akira. But question 4, name any film from Michael B. Jordan's film credits. So just any movie Michael B. Jordan has appeared in. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boys and friends, if you said Space Jam: A New Legacy, you're out.
Fuck.
Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that. I forgot he was in that as a stupid goof.
Oh.
That... Boys, that movie was awful. That was an incredible goof. I laughed. I was entertained. Matt, what do you got?
I went with Creed 2 specifically.
Ooh, good movie. Good movie. Rakush?
Black Panther.
Also good movie. Also good movie. Boys, think we see Michael B. Jordan in the MCU anytime soon?
I mean, his character is dead.
Yeah, but the multiverse, Rakush.
Right. I don't know.
The disdain in that, right? Matt, what do you think about multiverses in 2025?
I love multiverses. I've always loved multiverses.
Good times. Good times. Anyway, boys, I loved me Carly Rae Jepsen's song More from this year, but that was on her 10th anniversary of her Emotion album, where for question 3, just name any song off the Carly Rae Jepsen album Emotion. This can include the recent 10th anniversary edition, any of the re-releases, deluxe editions. Just name any song that you can find on a version of Carly Rae Jepsen's album Emotion. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said Run Away With Me, you're out. Matt, what song is making you emotional?
Yo, Jaren, I'm getting emotional over all of my boy problems.
Matt, Such a good song. Matt, if you haven't listened to Emotion, I think you'd like Emotion. There's some bops on here.
Okay.
There's some bops on here.
Okay. All right.
Rakush, what song do you got?
I'm going with the song Warm Blood for two reasons. One, I need to turn the heat on after the recording is over so there's no background noise. But also two, because it's produced by a gentleman named Rustam Batman Glitch. Yes, Batman is in his last name.
It's a wild name, actually.
Good name. Question 4. Boys, I said I really loved the T-bone steak from Fat Rabbit. Guys, all you have to do is name a way you can have a steak done. Name just a way you can have a steak done. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boys, if you went with the tried and true medium rare, you're out.
Ooh.
Matt? What steak do you have coming to the table?
I mean, maybe it's just because I'm, I got Monster Hunter on the brain still, but I'm going with a well-done steak.
Good answer. Rakush, what steak's coming to the table for you?
I just wanted to go with rare so that I could answer with, I want to hear the cow moo.
No, Rakush, if you want to hear the cow moo, you want it blue.
Oh, man. I'm never ordering steaks with you guys. IRL. Actually, if you're driving to Zets, let me know. I'll order steaks with you. IRL. Okay. Question 5. The final question. And you know what? Might not have mentioned it this episode, but definitely mentioned it during Matt's episode. This might be cheating, but boys, you know I can't leave out some of my favorite girls. Name any of the Nakano quintuplets from the quintessential quintuplets. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Matt, you know, I was thinking about throwing a curveball, but you know I couldn't. You know I couldn't because Ichika will always be number 1. So if you picked Ichika, you're out.
Oh, man.
Matt,
Jaren.
did you stay true?
Jaren, you know, this train has no brakes. Because I'm ride or die. I'm always there for Nino.
Rakush, who you got?
I just saw Yotsuba, so went with that.
Boo, boo, Matt, boo this man, boo.
I mean, what have I done here? I don't know.
Matt, not gonna lie, sometimes when I'm bored, and I'm often bored, I'll go back to my crash out on that one episode.
Oh, man.
Shout out to 2019.
Okay. You know, while you're bringing that up, Rakush, I mean, Jared just said he does this. I also do that for a particular clip. I don't know if you do it, Rakush, but I always go back to the clip where I explain the ending of Sarazanmai to Jared, because I feel like that was such a good goof.
I mean, the only one I go back to is the ice cream cake one.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a classic.
So what you want to do, right, is you want to melt some chocolate.
So what's your deal for online classes? So do sponge cakes. Oh, man.
What is this podcast is nonsense?
Guy. You know, I think this is like, we're probably on like year 15 or something. And
yeah,
it's not a good podcast.
I don't think we want to admit that, but
no, well, I totally admit.
I like that you guys,
a good podcast,
in perfect harmony, said no right there. By the way,
it's enough for me. It's enough for me to continuously be my 5th listened to podcast of the year.
Yeah,
so thanks us.
November 9th, 2010 is episode 1 of Saturday Morning Arcade.
That's actually later than I expected it to be.
Thanks us. Matt, where does anime 2025 stack to anime 2019?
Ooh, 2025 was actually a pretty decent year, but you know, Jaren, I think just like you, I have a special place in my heart for 2019. And it's you know, the last pandemic free. I guess you know what, 2020 anime was technically pandemic free for a little bit, but you know.
I know. Boys. So we fully admitted that no one listens to this podcast but us. So you know,
that's a lie. Shout out Saucy. He listens to every episode.
Guys, before we end off our celebration of 2025, I'm going to talk about one of the last movies I watched in 2025. Boys, I saw the new Avatar movie the other day.
Jaren, please. And, I gotta go to sleep.
This was the first time I've ever watched an Avatar-related property, or from the, from the James Cameron verse, if you will. And all I'm gonna say is, you know what? I think I get it. I think I get it. And take that for what you will. But I'll take this moment to thank one of my best friends in the world, Matt Alba, for joining me this week, this year, and for this entire Mistake Zone run, editing this podcast, and of course, helping me move, and getting some chicken sandos. So thanks, Matt.
Yo, no problem, man. And I want you to know, still dabbing.
Nice. Nice. And of course, I want to thank one of my other best friends in the whole wide world, Rakush, for joining me this week, this year, this run, on and off, and of course, helping me move and getting some Panzerottis from a place that I believe no longer exists. Thanks, Rakush.
Guys, we've been recording for 5.5 hours.
It's longer than I thought it was going to be by about an hour.
I want to take this time to thank Mira. I want to thank Miyu-chan. I want to thank Spook Shack crew. I want to thank Bananas. I want to thank, you know what? The nice Pokemon Center clerk. That's it. That made me feel happy, even though he was just being polite. I want to thank Odo. I want to thank Lily. I want to thank Stakes. I want to thank, got to thank Sakura. You know, thank you for showing me how to truly enjoy Umamusume by pumping everything in speed. I want to thank Kaela. I want to thank Kronii.
Please
I want to thank
stop
Kobo.
thanking people. I want to go to sleep.
I want to thank Ruriko. I want to thank Kinako. I want to thank Skrillex. I want to thank Otto. I want to thank KizunaAI. I want to thank, got to thank our girls, Wada and Yamamoto. I want to thank Anya. I want to thank Michael B. Jordan. I want to thank Blueprints. Matt, we don't think the Red Print still, right? I want to thank Pusha T. I want to thank Malice. I want to thank Rize. I want to thank Makima. Shout out to Denji. Man, where's Power at? I want to thank Carly Rae Jepsen. I want to thank... I want to thank those friggin' flower kids. So good. I want to thank Japan. I want to thank Moving. I want to thank you guys for listening to us on the Mistake Zone. And Matt, please take it away.
I'm not even going to take it away. I'm just going to fade out on that really, really long list.
You knew what I was going for, Matt.